Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Markle and welcome to this webinar on perimenopause and menopause part 2, focusing on lifestyle support that we've mentioned in part 1. I hope this and the online reading material will serve as a backbone of support that you can keep coming back to as you reach this transition phase in your lives. I hope to arm you with knowledge and sustainable lifestyle shifts that can make this a positive time to empower yourselves and really get your bodies strong now, so that you have really strong bodies that work really well when you're an old lady. After watching this presentation, if you wish for further support, please contact your practice. So let's start off with nutrition. I could happily spend an entire presentation talking about lifestyle. There is so much value in taking this opportunity to address and make small, meaningful changes here. So in terms of nutrition, a Mediterranean diet can be helpful for symptoms. Watching your caffeine is very helpful too. For some women, that high experience with coffees, for example, can be interpreted as anxiety. So look for how things affect how you feel. Alcohol. Often around this time of life, you can feel more sensitive to alcohol during the menopause. So the red wine, for example, typically often doesn't sit well with women anymore. Spicy foods can make flushes feel worse, and time-restricted eating may help some women. So if it helps with your energy levels and how you feel over the day, fabulous. There has been a lot of research recently started with a focus on how the body shifts towards menopause. There can be more central weight gain as we encounter fluctuating and falling hormone levels. Nutrition and exercise play a huge role in managing this. My handout has some helpful leaflets, podcasts, and ways to approach this huge topic. The main focus of changes you should make should be on what works best for you or is sustainable for you. Don't feel more pressure about this than you need to, and allow yourself space to get this right and wrong. Nutrition. So biology, which is our bodies, and psychology, which is the way that we think, play huge roles in nutrition. There is a lot of focus in the media about foods that are good or bad, or focusing on restricting one part or all of your diet. It's not our place to tell you what to do, but to encourage you to change your eating rituals to benefit your body more. The menopause can be thought of as a time to reflect and create huge impact with gentle lifestyle shifts that you can build up as you wish. Overall, shifting your dietary pattern is important, but you can enjoy this and reap the benefits such as more energy and greater muscle mass. You don't need fancy tech to do this, but if it does help with your motivation and your accountability, then great. There is a lot of podcasts and media focus on longevity, which is staying functionally able and reducing risk of chronic disease for your future older bodies. And this is an interesting approach and can help sometimes, because it's about future-proofing rather than just trying to look good now. So in terms of central weight gain around the waist, women really do notice that this can happen. Fat cells can be converted into estrogen. Therefore, the body tries to lay down more fat cells to create more estrogen as this declines through this phase of life. But it's important to remember that not all fat is equal. Actually, carrying more body fat around the hips and thighs, in some evidence, is shown to even protect you from disease. There are a number of podcasts that explore this and how body fat impacts our aging and disease, which is worth a listen to. So some example of shifts. Can you move yourself towards a less processed food diet? This can simply mean looking at labels of our snacks and food. Does it have ingredients I recognise? If not, then it's a processed food. And aim for fewer of these overall. Can you start with a larger portion of protein on your plate? Can you decrease the volume of refined carbohydrates on your plate? These are processed or milled grains. And make switches to whole grains, brown rice, whole wheat pastas. Can you add more fermented foods in your diet to help your gut microbiome and your gut health, such as the 4Ks, which are kimchi, kombucha, kefir, and sauerkraut? Can you think about how different foods and snacks impact your energy levels after eating them, and reach for those which help you rather than help other people? Can you go with how your body feels in your clothes rather than weighing yourself? Can you shift a little towards a Mediterranean diet, reduce spicy foods, and reduce alcohol intake to help with your menopausal symptoms? Moving on to exercise. Exercise too can feel like a minefield. We mentioned with HRT that being overweight is a much higher risk of breast cancer than HRT is. On the flip side, exercising for 2.5 hours a week reduces the risk of breast cancer. Regular exercise can also help improve bone strength, decrease joint aches, improve heart health, improve hot flushes and night sweats. It can improve sleep, it can help with your weight management, and it can help with anxiety and low mood. Earlier, we mentioned that joint aches can be a symptom of the menopause. This may come along years before you're aware of the perimenopause in ways such as exercise feeling like it's not toning you in the same way it used to. Recovery after exercise is tougher, or the energy needed is greater. This is because the falling estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone impacts the bones, joints, and soft tissues of the body. Any exercise that you enjoy and is sustainable is a great start. And here are some gentle shift ideas. Can you think about how your week can include activities where you have some cardio, some strength, and some flexibility movement? Can you work on sustainable ways to increase your muscle work, i.e. strength training? And it doesn't have to be huge weights, it can be body weight. Can you shift your mind to focus on building muscle and not to losing weight? Can you hydrate more to support your joints and exercise recovery? This means drinking more water through the day. Can you notice in your cycle when you can push your exercise more, or when you need something more gentle, such as Pilates, towards when your period is due? Balance your goals with how you feel within the cycle can really help. You can see the handout for more links and podcast summaries on approaching this. The musculoskeletal system, which is our bones, muscles, and other tissues, is affected by the lack of estrogen or decrease of estrogen during the menopause transition, with many women presenting with more joint pain or concerns about their bone strength. Moving on to stress and sleep management. Sleep patterns can really shift towards the menopause. This can impact our energy levels, our mental health, our heart health, and mental functioning. Navigating the menopause itself can feel really stressful. The change in our body, how we function, how we feel about ourselves. The changes in hormones affect how we respond to these stresses, and recognize the impact of stress is a good start, after which we can adopt good habits to combat it. With everything we've spoken about, find out what works for you and aim to do more of this. They may be meditation or an activity that gives you a feeling of flow and calm, contemplative work, breath work, mindfulness, which is focusing on one issue at a time, she says, listening to music, cold or heat exposure, whatever lowers that baseline of stress from which your day builds up upon can really help. Other treatments. So there are complementary therapies available. These include red clover, black cohosh, sage, St. John's wort. These have limited evidence and are unregulated generally, and it can be a bit of trial and error to see if they can suit you. It's really important to note that some of these can interact with other medications, in particular St. John's wort. There are also non-hormonal medications that can be prescribed, such as antidepressants, and some newer options that can help symptoms such as hot flushes. Moving on to cognitive behavioural therapy. This can really help your menopausal symptoms. Cognitive behavioural therapy specifically for menopause is a non-medical approach to shifting anxiety, stress, low mood, hot flushes, and sleep issues. There is also support via sleep, via online platforms that have sleep CBT programs such as this one, Sleepful, slight typo there on the screen, sleepful.org.uk. And there are CBT self-directed books available such as this one, which is Living Well Through the Menopause. Ultimately, how you choose to move forward is your choice. There is so much information and misinformation on the internet, so try to look for what's evidence-based. I really hope you find these solutions that are really sustainable for you. Thank you so much.